Good evening, this is NTA Nationwide and we are live in Abuja. I am Juma Yusuf with the news. President Muhammadu Buhari is reassuring Nigerians that his administration's genuine commitment to free and fair elections will be followed through in every future election. Addressing Nigerian professionals in France, the president said the bedrock of democracy remains the sustenance of multi-party structure that can be trusted by all citizens. State House correspondent Adamu Sambulu completes the story.
Contributing 6.1% of the nation's annual GDP through remittances, as well as their talents, skills and global exposure to national development, Nigerians in the diaspora are indeed a constant source of pride to the country. No wonder, therefore, interacting with them is an indispensable part of President Buhari's activities while on official visit abroad.
We had Nigerians in the diaspora who got together to actually donate PPEs back home. They contributed millions of dollars and were able to give out PPEs to every state of the Federation. This kind of interaction, it's an opportunity for Nigerians here to engage with the president directly.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who addressed a wide range of issues, takes pride in the fact that results from elections since he assumed office had been a mixed bag, with the people's choice always playing out. He promised to keep the template that had brought more credibility to the electoral process.
As a sitting government, our party, the All Progressive Congress, lost a number of seats. And at our stage of development is unheard of. Normally those who are in power, by hook or by crook, they will win elections. But we believe in free and fair election. We show Nigerians that we respect them by allowing them to make their personal choice.
The president promised to remain steadfast in service to the nation and humanity, saying his administration will not relent until the country is fully secured and the people remain safe.
You have to secure the country to manage it properly. It's my duty to serve Nigerians and Nigeria with all my heart, and that's what I'm doing.
Describing agriculture as the future of Nigeria, President Buhari, however, maintained that the greatest resources are the people of the country, and therefore educating them is a priority. Some of the participants spoke to NTA News on their major takeaways from the interactive engagement.
The president has given us some words of assurance that he is on top of the game in this matter of insecurity. Our prayers are accompanying his government in all their efforts.
He has assured us that everything is in progress, and we believe him. He will fix it. He's the father of all.
Nigeria's ambassador to France, Kayode Ibrahim Lamo, had assured the president that the Nigerian community in France represent the best values of Nigeria. From Paris, France, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In another development, an agreement to push wealthier nations to reallocate $100 billion in International Monetary Fund (IMF) reserves to African states have been reached by African and European leaders. This was one of the outcomes of the France-African Summit in Paris. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
African leaders and heads of multilateral lenders advocating ways of financing African economies have issued a communique of a substantial financial package needed so that African countries are not left behind in economic recovery from the negative impacts of coronavirus pandemic. Top on the key talks is what they call special drawing rights from the International Monetary Fund reserves and reallocating them from richer nations to the African continent. President Emmanuel Macron, who is the convener of the summit, said France and several European countries took the step at a time when the continent is projected to face a near $300 billion deficit by the end of 2023.
Our work in the coming weeks will be to convince others to make the same effort as France, starting of course with the United States of America.
President Macky Sall of Senegal, who welcomed the plans, described it as a change of paradigm as Africa is now building what it needs for all, which gives a ray of hope, while the International Monetary Fund's chief, Kristalina Georgieva, said Africa's economic outputs will increase by only 3.2% in 2021, compared with 6% in the rest of the world.
Revenues are down, expenditures are up, and debt is high.
Georgieva said IMF will come up with a new allocation proposal by August. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Back home, Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State has dumped the People's Democratic Party for the All Progressives Congress APC. The governor made the declaration in the presence of 6 APC governors and the Minister of Petroleum for State, Timothy Silva, in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, where there has been a meeting prior to the declaration. Correspondent Paul Ebe reports that in attendance at the EPOC meeting were national and all state assembly members, Senator Florence Itagiwa, Cross River State Executive Council members, local government council chairmen, all political office holders and other political bigwigs in the state. It will be recalled that barely 2 weeks ago, some PDP governors visited Governor Ayade to warn him to remain in the party after he earlier expressed frustration and injustice by the leadership of the party. Socio-economic activities are picking up in Kaduna following the suspension of the NLC strike. Haruna Mohammed reports that workers have resumed offices while schools, hospitals, filling stations and public institutions have been reopened for services. Public power supply has been restored while train services along the Kaduna-Abuja rail line are expected to bounce back later in the day with movement of passengers. Meanwhile, parents of the child who was allegedly disconnected from oxygen masks at Barau Diko Hospital in Kaduna during the suspended NLC strike have confirmed that the baby is held and healthy. The father, Anas Yusuf Buhari, says the nurses did not cut off the oxygen masks on the baby as been claimed in the media. Speaking to NTA News, he explains that it is important to set the record straight in view of developments which puts the employment status of nurses at risk of dismissal.
She's okay at that moment.
She was stable?
Yes, she was stable at that moment. So I'm telling you, the nurse have even tried, because we are the one that emphasize on that we have to carry our baby to another hospital. So it is not her fault.
Trade dispute between organized labor and Kaduna State government will be resolved in a week. Minister of Labour and Employment Dr. Chris Ngige gave the assurance at the ongoing conciliatory meeting for both parties. Let's join Ekene Ndulue for the update.
Thank you, studio. We are just coming out from the first phase of the conciliatory meeting between the organized labor and Kaduna State government. The organized labor is led by the President, Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Ayuba Waba, while the Kaduna State delegate is led by the Commissioner for Local Government Affairs, Jafaru Sani Ibrahim. And the meeting is being presided over by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige. Top on the agenda of the meeting is the retrenchment of staff and conversion of workers to casuals. The Minister of Labour had earlier stated that the conciliatory meeting between both parties will not exceed 1 week. And right now, they are in a closed-door session and has promised that the resolution will be made public to the press as soon as possible. It's back to you there in the studio.
Thank you. The Nigerian Governors Forum has given its backing to the total removal of petroleum subsidy as part of measures to save the country of excess spending that would have been channeled to meet other developmental needs of the country, and thrown its weight behind Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State on staff auditing. Abubakar Usman Akonga reports that this came to the fore at the 30th teleconference of the forum and 7th in the year 2021.
As part of the resolutions reached after Governor El-Rufai's briefing to the forum, NGF agreed to stand with the embattled governor owing to his transformative leadership in the state and promised to key into his reforms. The forum appealed to the organized labor to sheath their swords and return to negotiation table to resolve the current impasse The Governors Forum also called for the immediate removal of petroleum subsidy to save the country of 70 to 210 billion naira losses from sales of premium motor spirit at 162 naira per litre. The Nigerian Governors Forum also pledged to strengthen partnership with Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 for successful vaccination of more than 70% of Nigerians by the year 2022. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, briefed his colleagues on the update of the consolidated exercise of the 3 tiers of government into a national budget portal. On the ongoing Jusun and Passa nationwide strike, governors agreed to implement Executive Order 10 as soon as the legal encumbrances are resolved. NGF also received presentation from the World Bank on the progress of 36 states on the implementation of $750 million under the State Financial Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program. Minister of Agriculture Mohammed Sabo Nanono briefed the governors on the Agri-Food and Jobs Plan database targeted to register 10 million farmers and also to empower additional 2.4 million smallholders farmers across the country. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Reports just reaching us says President Buhari is back in Abuja after attending the African Finance Summit in Paris. The president addressed Nigerians in France before leaving for Abuja. Now, 2 fell dead as gas explodes at Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library Complex, Abeokuta, Thursday morning during refrigerant gas changing in air conditioner. More details on the explosion in our subsequent bulletin. Let's now join Michael in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Jumai. The ever-busy Oshodi bus stop in Lagos was thrown into confusion in the early hours of Thursday as men of the Nigerian Air Force allegedly stormed the vicinity, shooting sporadically. It was alleged that an Air Force personnel was mobbed and killed by hoodlums, popularly called area boys. Imole Ayotoke Diogun brings an update on the situation at the bus stop.
This is the popular Oshodi, a busy area of Lagos State known for its business activities. As early as 7 a.m. this Thursday, there was fracas in the area as it was reported that a Nigerian Air Force officer was mobbed and killed by hoodlums, popularly called the area boys. As a result of this, according to eyewitnesses, the Air Force mobilized the military, causing tension. With me to talk more about the situation is a member of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Rashid Badmos. Please, could you tell us what really happened here?
What really happened, we just see them this morning, went down from their Ilos bus. There are like 8 cars. When they come down, they just bring knife, cutlass. The next thing they put on their face masks, started spoiling all our buses around here. So people, we were very scared. Everybody is just running. We don't know what really happened. We wound our driver. There is one that used sword and used the sword to match our driver.
So they chased many people. They injured many people. They even took some people away, some chairmen at other bridge. So it was those MP that they usually put on fly berets, red berets. So they are not like man chase them away.
However, normalcy has been restored in the area. The cause of the incident is still sketchy as investigation is still ongoing. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokede Ogunfowora, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Lagos State government has unveiled small capacity buses to replace the operations of motorcycles and tricycles, which have been outlawed in some parts of the metropolis by the 2018 amended state traffic law. Musa Tolias reports that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu introduced the bus scheme captured under the Bus Reforms Initiative in Lagos.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who unveiled the scheme, said the first and last mile bus initiative is targeted at curbing avoidable road crashes, synonymous with operations of commercial motorcycles, popularly known as Okada. He, however, charged the transport unions who have been incorporated into the bus scheme to caution and control motorcycle and tricycle operators under their purview, with a view to ensuring the success of the first and last mile bus scheme.
Early last year, the state government announced what was in our law by the restriction of commercial motorcycles called Okada in 6 local governments and 9 local council areas, and of course on our major roads. What we are doing, it's about improving and guaranteeing the security of lives and property of our citizens.
Meanwhile, security and law enforcement agencies have been repositioned to curb any form of resistance to smooth running of the minibus scheme.
Anything that's not going to make the vehicle to be on the road, that's not going to give security back to the drivers and the passengers, is of our own responsibility. So when those issues are, we are already discussing, we already have our plans.
Definitely reactions are expected, but we are already prepared in conjunction with other agencies to meet the reaction at his own help.
300 out of the expected 2,000 small capacity buses meant for the first phase of the scheme were unveiled. Officials of the regulatory agency, Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, hinted that the bus scheme is largely private sector driven and the operations of the scheme will cut across 8 zones across the metropolis. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
Time now for some messages, and when we return, the news continues in Abuja. Please stay.
Thanks for joining us. The southern eastern part of the country has no plan to break away from Nigeria, and sponsors of unrest in the region have been advised to embrace peace and dialogue with the government rather than taking up arms to destroy lives and property. Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State said this when he featured at a weekly briefing series at the presidential villa in Abuja. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
It's another session of interaction between the executive and the State House press corps, being coordinated by the Presidential Communications team. This time, it is the turn of Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State and Chairman Southeast Governors Forum.
The security situation in Southeast.
The governor, who highlights the achievements of his administration in the areas of agriculture, health, education, youth and women empowerment, and development of infrastructure, explains that while his government is committed to doing more, without peace, there cannot be development, and calls on those that are taking up arms against the government to lay down their arms and embrace dialogue.
I have offered, along with Southeast governors, to our youth, present your demands in print and hand over to us. Some of them have merits. There's no region in this country today that, do not have one thing or the other against the federal government, against, one region or the other. But we can all sit down to discuss, and that's what we have demanded from our youth, whether band on band. So far you're from Southeast, let us see your demands, let us see your grievances. Give us 6 months to engage the federal government to addressing all this. Because I believe in dialogue, and I believe that we can sit down as a people to discuss and find what our differences. And we can know our differences, and also we can together discuss how we can strengthen, our cooperation as a people.
The governor also emphasizes the need for all Nigerians to be patriotic.
The level of patriotism in this country is very low, And people are already saying 2023, when we have not secured 2021, whatever that will happen in the constitutional amendment, can we make these political offices very, very unattractive? Can we make the National Assembly to be part-time? Can those who have made mark in their companies, in their life endeavors, be encouraged to come up as leaders of this country? And I think that the resources should be, given more to the states.
The briefings highlight issues in the polity
and efforts of the government towards tackling them. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And in view of the emerging security threats in the country, the Defense Headquarters has further upscaled its ongoing operations across the country. The Acting Director, Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyako, stated this at a news conference to highlight armed forces operations between 1st and 28th May 2021. Land troops, the Acting Director said, have intensified aggressive patrol and artillery bombardment of criminal camps, with the company conducting offensive air strikes, intelligence surveillance with search and rescue missions on the front lines of the northeast, while in the maritime domain, troops conducted anti-piracy and anti-smuggling operations to safeguard the nation's oil resources. This is the medium brief. This is the maiden briefing by the Defense Media Operations since the assumption of office by the current service chiefs. Now, Nigeria's Senate is committed to ensuring standards in the application of cutting-edge technology for Nigeria's aerospace and information technology processes. To this end, a public hearing has been conducted on 2 establishment bills by the Senate Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
Additional mechanisms needed to spread the educational infrastructure in the country are the reason behind this convergence by stakeholders. They deliberated on bills for the establishment of a University of Aerospace and Aeronautics, HARCOURT, in Ondo State, and the Institute of Information Technology, Suleja, in Niger State.
National Space Research and Development Agency is a direct beneficiary of the establishment of this proposed University of Aerospace. Academic is different from professional, but you see, an academic can become a professional if he likes. So please always make these distinctions. The community is currently housing the Advanced Aerospace Engineer Laboratory.
The aim is to encourage national airspace programs and provide more job opportunities and indigenous know-how.
Human capacity development has been an area we have been focusing on, given our determination to improve the human resource element in the evolution of their country.
Let me reaffirm the commitment of the 9th Senate in supporting legislation beneficial to the Nigerian citizens.
The need to upgrade the name of the Information Technology Institution to university is part of the observations made by the National Universities Commission, which also described the establishment bills as a welcome development. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Let's now join Fatima Makodi. She has the next set of reports for us and nationwide. Hello, Fatima.
President Muhammadu Buhari has inducted the JF-17 Thunder aircraft into the Nigerian Air Force inventory at NAF Base Makudi to mark the 57th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force. The president, represented by the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, says this feat has placed the Nigerian Air Force on a platform of effective defense of the territorial integrity of Nigeria. Grace Anyalewa Ichepa has details.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who was represented, commended the Nigerian Air Force for applying professionalism in carrying out their constitutional duty in protecting the country's airways. He pledged his administration's commitment in empowering the force and other security agencies in tackling the various security challenges in the country.
This induction ceremony is also most rewarding to me because it marks another step in the fulfillment of one of my promises, which I made at the beginning of my administration. That is to improve the infrastructure and equipment dispositions of the armed forces and other security agencies to enable their output, professionalism, and service delivery.
The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, thanked the President for supporting the Nigerian Air Force in empowering the force and promised to continue in fighting insecurity in the country.
Today's event, which marks the climax of the celebration, is yet another milestone, bearing glowing testimony of the current federal government administration's unwavering resolve to equip and energize the Nigerian Air Force and indeed the entire armed forces of Nigeria towards combating terrorism, insurgency, armed banditry, and other threats to the nation's territorial integrity and the security of its people. Let me place on record that under the current administration, the Nigerian Air Force has inducted 23 brand new aircraft into its inventory from 2015 till date.
High points of the event was aerial display of NAVJET and research and development exhibition. In Makurdi, Grace Anyalewa, Ichekpa, NTA News.
Benue State Police Command has paraded 45 suspected criminals for various crimes committed across the state. The Commissioner of Police, Audu Madaki, disclosed this at a press briefing to showcase his achievements since assumption of office in February this year. Simbia Tagbaji reports.
The Commissioner of Police, Audu Madaki, said Benue State had witnessed many conflicts, sectarian killings, and different levels of crimes, but added that since February 2021, the command had been proactive and has come up with community policing strategies, which has yielded results with over 276 persons in police net. So far, the command has charged 145 cases to court and 131 awaiting trial.
Everybody is a stakeholder in trying to fight crime and criminality.
On the 45 suspected criminals who were paraded for various crimes ranging from armed robbery, rape, and murder, the commissioner said they would be charged to court on completion of investigation. Items recovered were 32 rifles of different caliber, 6 AK-47, 1 G3, 3 double-barrel guns, and 22 locally made pistols. Meanwhile, 6 police officers were honored for gallantry and professionalism. In Makurdi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
And that report concludes our contribution from Makurdi. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Jimmy.
Thank you, Fatima. Worried by the spate of killings of security personnel, attacks on their facilities and other public institutions in Ebonyi State and the entire Southeast Zone, Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 9 headquarters in Umuahia, AIG Ene Okon, held an interactive session with traditional rulers and other stakeholders in Ebonyi State to chart the way forward. Ijoma Peter Nwente reports.
AIG of Zone 9 Umuahia, Etim Ene Okon, who is not happy with the killings of security personnel and other forms of attack on the formations, said funds used to embark on rebuilding police stations would have been channeled to other developmental projects. He enjoined leaders at all levels to synergize with security agencies towards addressing the spate of insecurity in the...
It's from your money, your tax. These infrastructures are given. It is your own. But you turn around to burn, kill the policeman, collect the rifle that you bought for them to use in protecting you. Then where are we then?
The Ebonyi State Commissioner of Police, Aliyu Gaba, while commending the synergy between the state government and all security agencies in the state, acknowledged that though it is their constitutional responsibility to maintain peace and order, the people's cooperation is important.
We cannot do it alone, as no police agency anywhere in the world has ever claimed to achieve its security mandate all alone.
Major contributions from stakeholders at the interactive session hinged on the need to provide adequate employment for the youths as part of measures to check insecurity in the country. In Abakaliki, Ijoma Peter Nwante, NTA News.
The National Assembly Joint Committee on Police Affairs has received the 2021 budget for the Nigerian Police Trust Fund as requested by President Muhammadu Buhari. Executive Secretary of the fund, Ahmed Aliu Sakkwato, while briefing newsmen after a closed-door meeting with the committee, said the proposed budget stands at 74 billion naira. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
This joint meeting by the legislature is aimed at ensuring procurement of state-of-the-art security equipment, operational vehicles, and other related demands to achieving outstanding policing in the country as requested in the presidential letter. Executive Secretary of the fund, Ahmed Aliu Sakkwato, told the newsmen that the proposed budget will go a long way to improve the activities of the entire country's policing.
I'm assuring you that the Police Trust Fund will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that we carried our assigned responsibility with better policing of Nigeria so that the service delivery.
Provision of the general welfare of personnel and training are also included in the budget. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Asma'u is in our Sokoto studio for more reports. Hello, Asma'u.
Jumai, good evening and welcome to Sokoto. The United States of America in the economic sector, considering the untapped market potentials in the state, especially in agriculture. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu made the request while receiving the United States Ambassador Mary Beth Leonard at the Government House in Birnin Kebbi. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
It has been the second visit of the United States Ambassador to Nigeria in Kebbi State under Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu's administration, with the same motive of intensifying the existing bilateral relationship between the two entities. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu said the existing bilateral relationship between the two have yielded positive results in areas of agriculture and healthcare. He acknowledged the contributions of the USAID-supported programs in the state, stating that Kebbi State is expecting more exploration of avenues in the sectors.
We believe as part of the programs of the Trade Hub and the USAID programs, we might reach a stage where we can appeal to investors to come and help us with those capital intensive, which we believe will pay off.
The United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, said the visit was to review the United States government investment in the state and brainstorm on the state government agriculture and health priorities.
Very proud of our investments in agriculture. This is, of course, Kebbi as a focus state for Feed the Future, which is, a variety of activities in agribusiness, in extension and advice. And in particular in the West African Trade Hub, to the very important and I think very shared goal between the United States and Nigeria.
The U.S. ambassador, together with the Kebbi State governor and the entourage, attended the co-investment partnership launch between HARCOURT Rice and West Africa Trade and Investment Hub in HARCOURT Rice Mill, Argungu. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
And now to Zamfara. Unity and Development Forum says it is poised to collaborate with government and other stakeholders in addressing the security and development challenges bedeviling the state. President of the forum, Usman Balarabe, stated this during a special general meeting of the members held in Gusau. Sadia Abubakar Tino reports.
Zamfara State has been suffering from serious setback in almost all spheres of human endeavors ranging from security, education and economy among others. It is against this background that some seasoned technocrats from the state include retired and working civil servants, businessmen and politicians founded Zamfara Unity and Development Forum with a view to contributing their quota towards helping the state out of its predicament.
As part of the reason for setting up the forum, which is to assist the indigents of the state, a visit will be paid to the orphanage and the general hospital to present the donations.
President of the forum, Alhaji Usman Balarabe, said as people who have also benefited from the government resources in attaining their positions in life, they will reciprocate the gesture by employing their expertise and resources in ensuring socio-economic development of the state. According to him, The forum is ever ready to offer professional advice to the government when the need arises, so that together they can move the state forward. He then appealed to government and general public to see them as partners in progress instead of pressure groups or opposition.
The state is lacking in some other aspects of professional advices, some administrative experiences, and that's how we came together, and we are partners to the state government and to the local governments for development purposes.
The forum is billed to hold its next meeting in July this year. In Gusau, Sadia Abakar, NTA News.
And that's it from here. The news will continue after these messages. Good evening.
Welcome back. Traditional rulers in Osun and Anambra states have offered to repair 2 INEC offices damaged during the NSAS protest. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this during a meeting with resident electoral commissioners in Abuja. Mayor Ogeji reports on this and the current state of the continuous voter registration exercise.
The NSAS protest has ended, but damaged structures still bleeding. INEC offices were also major victims of the protest by the youths. But the elders say, INEC, sorry, we will repair the structures, and this excites INEC.
Following the vandalization of our offices in Osun State during the NSAS protest in October last year, the Ikirun community in Ifelodun local government area offered to repair our local government office destroyed during the NSAS protests. In the same vein, in Inewi North in Anambra State, the community has also offered to repair our local government office destroyed during the NSAS protests. The Commission does not take such partnership for granted.
Still recovering from the NSAS saga, attacks from faceless individuals continue on INEC offices, taking a lot out from INEC, but not the smile from the INEC boss, and this will not affect plans of the Commission.
I am glad to report that the Commission has virtually completed necessary preparations for the resumption of the continuous voter registration. In the next few days, the Commission will meet to finalize the compilation and coding of polling units and thereafter make the information public.
Our focus on Anambra November 6 governorship election remain unshaken, INEC promised. Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerians have condemned in strong terms the attacks on INEC offices in the southeast and called for caution as the attacks may be an impediment to the smooth conduct of the 2023 general elections. Kayode Olorundare reports on these and measures to safeguard INEC facilities in Akure, Ondo State.
This is the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC in Ondo State, Akure. This office, in the build-up to the 2020 gubernatorial election in Ondo State, had its own fair share of fire outbreak, which destroyed over 5,000 card readers. Now, with the incessant attacks on different INEC offices nationwide, especially in the southeast, what are the measures put in place to safeguard this facility?
Although efforts to speak with the resident electoral commissioner in Ondo State, Ambassador Rufus Akeju, proved abortive as he was said to be in Abuja for a meeting as at the time of filing this report. However, the presence of security personnel was at the commission head office in Akure. Meanwhile, Ondo State Police Command has reiterated the readiness to safeguard all public facilities in the state, INEC inclusive.
Our presence and synergy with the communities and community leaders as well as all the stakeholders of security in the state is enough to deter anyone to think that they can break through.
They should be careful. They should be careful. We are complaining that the economy is bad. Are they making it to be worse or they are making it to improve? They should advise themselves.
It's a bad thing because it's not supposed to be.
Reports on attacks on INEC offices in the southeast have been in the news lately. In Akure, Kayode Olorundare, NTA News.
And Dibabri is standing by in our studio in Port Harcourt with more reports. Hello, Dibabri.
Hello, Jumain, and welcome to Port Harcourt.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has stressed the need for increased budgetary allocation for the nation's security agencies to enable them perform optimally in their constitutional responsibility of protecting lives and property. The governor was speaking when the Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, paid him a courtesy visit at Government House, Port Harcourt. April completes the report.
The imperativeness of security to governance and the need for adequate support to security agencies to achieve set objectives form the kernel of discourse. The governor said his administration will remain committed to supporting the security agencies to carry out their responsibilities.
You are giving good governance. Without security, there is no governance. So you must. It is incumbent of you that you must.
The governor emphasized the deep politicization of security in the country. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, commended the governor for his support to the police and the award of contract for the rehabilitation of police formations in the state.
Your Excellency, in the last few months, we have witnessed very violent attack on personalities of the Nigerian military, Nigerian police, state assets, and so on. And it is time we devise a means of looking at this issue in a very critical manner. We are launching this operation. While we are trying to act within the ambit of the law, we will also be ruthless with all criminals or those who want to attack
The governor thanked the AIG of Police for the choice of Rivers State for the launching of Operation Restore Peace in the South-South geopolitical zone. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Nyekwere, NTA News.
In line with the tradition of giving back to society, the Nigerian Air Force Mobility Command has carried out a free medical outreach to Baratoro community in Yenagua local government area of Bayelsa State. The gestures targeted at alleviating the plight of the people who may not be able to afford quality health care in commemoration of its 57th anniversary. Fred Owefie reports.
The 57th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force is designed to be part of its social responsibility to communities in their areas of operation, as no fewer than 1,000 beneficiaries received health education, screening for medical conditions, free glasses, drugs, among others, as well as distribution of mosquito nets to patients. Air Officer Commanding Mobility Command Air Vice Marshal Aliyu Bello, who was represented by the Chief of Staff Mobility Command Air Vice Marshal Barisi Kinam, noted that the free medical outreach will go a long way in improving the overall health of the people of Barantoro community.
When you see the initially, you think that what they do is only fighting. But by doing this now, people see us in different light that, okay, these people, they can see something, even in journey. So by doing this, we establish a cordial relationship between us and the people.
Some of the beneficiaries appreciated the laudable effort of the Mobility Command for the humanitarian services through the provision of free health care to the people.
I'm sending special goodwill message to the Chief of the Air Staff, yes, for this gesture, and the Air Force will continue in this stride.
They are doing a very good job, and we are very happy because they are not collecting anything, no dime from anybody.
More kudos be given to the Nigerian Air Force because they have brought smile to the faces of the rural communities, especially the elderly ones.
Various medical conditions were diagnosed and treated, while those with complex medical cases were referred to government health facilities in the state for further medical attention. Fred Owefie, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. Is back to Jumai for the continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you, Debabri. Welcome back to Abuja. The federal government is considering an adjustment to accommodate local artisanal oil refiners, leveraging on pipeline surveillance funds. The Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta is appealing to the National Assembly to insert the recommendations of the National Summit on the integration of modular artisanal refining in the ongoing PIB legislation, which was chaired by the Vice President Yemi Oshibajo. The recommendations include setting up of a DEX in the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources midstream for modular and mini refiners operation, that a stakeholders safety committee involving the Office of the Vice President and other relevant government agencies in the oil sector be set up to ensure international best practice, that the National Assembly should mainstream and give mini refiners a legal framework and ensure the Department of Petroleum Resources grant license to mini refiners at a commensurate fee, among others. A two-day consultative workshop with media executives and other representatives on the ECOWAS Vision 2050 is underway in Monrovia, Liberia. The meeting is to obtain the input of the representatives of the media as the regional body develops a new vision for the citizens of the region. One of the key vision statements is developing a fully integrated community of people in a peaceful, prosperous region with strong institutions that respect fundamental freedoms. A secure, stable and peaceful region is also sought as a pillar of the vision. The role of the media has been described as pivotal in shaping policy, and participants were asked to be bold and responsible in their contribution towards realizing the vision. Over now to our sports desk for sports update with IODG Makinde.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. We'll begin with racket sports, where the Nigeria Tennis Federation has reaffirmed its commitment to the projection of more homegrown players through national ranking tournaments as a catalyst for qualification into major world tennis tours, including ATP and WTA events at the end of the year 2021.
Players that get up to the semi-finals automatically qualify to play another tournament. The prize monies are high, and of course the best players will partake in the Davis Cup and the Fed Cup, which is the Billie Jean Cup that will be participating in for the first time in Lithuania.
Moving on to athletics, Nigeria sprint queen Blessing Okagbare ran a season's best time of 22.59 seconds to place second position in the women's 200 meters event at the 60th Ostrava Golden Spike, putting up a good challenge against American Sha'Carri Richardson, who finished first in the race at a time of 22.35 seconds, while Mojinga Kabunji took third at a time of 22.85 seconds. The Ostrava Golden Spike is one of the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Series. And now football. Manchester City defender Ruben Diaz has been named as the Footballer of the Year by the Football Writers Association, finishing ahead of Tottenham striker Harry Kane and teammate Kevin De Bruyne. The 24-year-old Portuguese is only the third player to win the FWA award in his first season in English football, and the last defender to win the accolade was Liverpool's Steve Nicol 32 years ago. And that's Sports Update. I'm Ayodeji Makinde.
You can get more news and updates on www.nta.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News, and also stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Also remember to watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live.
And that's NTA Nationwide for today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Jumai Yusuf.